Overhead Crane by W.F. Steel & Crane. Not many people know that cranes equipped with a long extendable boom are not the only equipment for lifting heavy loads. There are also overhead cranes. In this case, the lifting device is suspended from a trolley that moves horizontally on a large metal bridge. On the screen, you can see a magnetic overhead crane. Instead of holding the load with a hook, this equipment uses a large rectangular electromagnet. This kind of equipment is perfect for moving, loading, and unloading various metal products. There can be metal sheets or tubes, rails, forgings, and much more. Imagine how much time is saved because workers don't need to do anything to secure the load. The video shows the loading equipment of the Canadian company W.F. Steel & Crane. M42KK electromagnet. Overhead cranes are not the only devices that can lift loads using the power of a magnet. Tests have proved this method very efficient, so it's not surprising that there are different magnetic devices on the modern market. For example, take a look at the M42KK lifting magnet from the Ukrainian Kran-Komplekt crane factory. The advantage of this device is that it can be attached to almost any crane, whether it's an overhead crane, a gantry crane, a trolley crane, or a self-propulsion crane. This type of equipment is perfect for steel mills and ferroalloy plants. It's also useful in ports, terminals, shipbuilding and repair factories, as well as in mechanical engineering. It should be noted that lifting magnets can have different shapes: rectangular, saddle-shaped, or round, as in this case. The outer diameter of the M42KK reaches 1.2 meters. The device weighs 1,350 kilograms. The maximum load depends on the type of product being handled. If steel chips are lifted, the lifting capacity varies between 200 and 300 kilograms. If you work with steel plates or blocks, the capacity is 16 tons. However, there are similar models that can lift up to 20 tons. The engineers paid a lot of attention to safety. Tests have shown that even if the power source fails, the electromagnet will hold the load in place for 10 minutes. Armstrong Magnetics NLB. We've already talked about electromagnets today. Their principle of operation is as follows. The magnetic field is produced by the flow of an electric current through a coil. In this way, the operation of the magnet is controlled remotely. The person at the control panel is in charge of the magnetic state of the electromagnet. This device is convenient and allows to speed up the work considerably. But at the same time, it's relatively complex and therefore expensive. For that reason, simpler and more affordable alternatives, such as the one you see on your screen, have been created. This is another lifting magnet. In this case, you have to manually change the position of the lever to activate the magnet. Moving the loads takes a little longer, but it's still more efficient than traditional equipment. This equipment is produced by the American company Armstrong Magnetics. The NLB series includes about 10 models which differ in size, weight, and power. These magnets can lift objects weighing between 150 kilograms and 2 tons. It's a great advantage that there are different models, and specialists have the opportunity to choose the best equipment for their needs. The Large Hadron Collider. The following machine is the result of the work of more than 10,000 scientists and engineers from all over the world. It's a collective project in which more than 100 countries participated, and the Large Hadron Collider is big. Very, very big. Its main ring is 27 kilometers long. But what was it built for? This is one of the largest experiments in the world. Scientists use it to study elementary particles, their composition, and the way they interact. The fact is that some physical objects are so small that you can't see them even with the world's most powerful microscope, but the Large Hadron Collider allows them to work with them. Scientists accelerate protons and heavy ions at high speeds, forcing them to collide. The result is the fragmentation of particles for a short period of time. At that point, special detectors are used to capture the new components formed after the collision. But why is the collider on our list today? Because magnets are an integral part of this device. First of all, they're responsible for the trajectory of the particles, and secondly, they provide particles with additional energy during movement. The Varian V3701 electromagnet. Here we have another research equipment, not so big or important, but still very useful. In addition to educational purposes, electromagnets are also used for industrial purposes, for example, for the creation of the Hall effect, for magnetic and optical research, for magnetic separation, and for generating changes in the speed of chemical reactions. This, and much more, can be studied with the V3701 electromagnet. In fact, it's a rather old model that, however, is still in use today. These devices were produced by Varian, a Californian company. Magnetic thinking putty. Research activities don't always require complex and technologically advanced equipment. If we're talking about children, some physical phenomena are easier to explain through games. This is exactly the function of this product by Crazy Aaron's. It's a soft and viscous substance, which is very pleasant to knead in the hands. In a way, it's similar to kinetic sand. At the same time, the mixture consists of tiny magnetic particles that react to metal or other magnets. This strange device is a limitless source for games and experiments. Floating sculptures. The latest invention we'll talk about today will please people who like to surprise others. It's a levitation module that uses electromagnetic forces to create a magical effect. Imagine that your guests enter your room, and on the desk they see a plate floating in the air. This invention has no practical function. Its task is to look spectacular, which it does perfectly, especially since it's also capable of carrying small loads. The Octo 88 hangs at a height of up to 88 millimeters and can support objects weighing up to 10 kilograms. The system has been developed by the Dutch studio Crealev. It should be noted that the manufacturer offers modules of different sizes. You can experiment with their appearance, creating unusual levitating sculptures. The base can glow with different colors and acts as an additional element of decoration. Hey, stop being lazy, it's time to use that brain of yours. Welcome to Brain Time. Incredible facts from the past, the present, and even the future. The power of nature and wild animals, amazing facts and unsolved mysteries. You'll find all this and much more here. Subscribe now, you won't regret it.